Hi, I'm Paul. I'm an indie game developer in Bristol, and this is my series following progress of my new video game. Please do subscribe down below if you'd like to follow along. In my last video, I showed you how I created a special kind of airbrush for painting on tiles. You'll see here that some of the orange tiles are more dense than other ones. And what I promised is that I'd next be working on how the player drags those crystal particles out of the rock gradually, and then the crystal should gradually disappear rather than disappearing in an instant. This actually proved a lot harder than I was expecting, and I have to admit there were a couple of times I thought I was going to have to give up, that it was not possible. I hit all sorts of problems. You'll see here, this circle represents the gravitational field. When that passes over a tile, the idea is that that's the tile it's going to start grabbing particles from. And those little X's are supposed to be one per tile, showing which ones are within the circle. But it makes some weird shapes, and I couldn't understand what was going on. So I asked the internet. I went to Stack Overflow, and I also went over to the Unity forums. And here I had a response from Chuan Jin, I hope I pronounced that right, who is actually the person who created the 2D Extras library, which for anyone using tile maps in Unity is not an extra, but an absolute essential. That was pretty awesome. And when I followed up from that, I got a response from Melv May, and his response, again, someone from Unity, his response sealed it for me. I understood what was going on there and why the method I was using totally wouldn't work. So I changed tack, and here is how things turned out. So you can see the green X's show when I've entered a tile, the red X's show when I'm leaving a tile, and bingo, I was so pleased. This was on Wednesday afternoon, and I was hopping about. So now I've finished that bit off, and I'd like to show you how this looks in the game itself. So over here, I've got a little bit of terrain, I've got the player, and on the left you can see one of the old style tiles, which is a standard single tile, and on the right you can see one of my new special ones that the density changes. So if I fly up and go over the left one, you'll see how it drags the particles out, but when they're all gone, the crystal just suddenly disappears. So it's either there or it's not there. And now if I go over to the one on the right, you'll see it drags the particles out little by little, and the crystal in the ore gradually disappears until it's all gone. And that's what I was aiming for. So that's it for this week. Next week, well, I've kind of done all the prototypes that I had lined up. I think I'm finally going to have to start thinking about the levels within the game. Anyway, I'll leave that as a mystery to show you next week. Thanks for following along. Please do like, subscribe, share, or comment below. I'd love to hear your comments. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.